I look forward to sharing with you what I've come up with. There's some really interesting things around, as you can see from the content page at the moment, of sort of animals that really look for and live in the volcano area. So yeah, overall, there are 48 volcanoes were in continual eruption status as of the 17th of March this year. So an eruption marked as continuing does not mean it's persistently daily activity, but indicates at least an intermittent eruptive events without a break for 3 months or more. Generally, there are around 20 volcanoes actively erupting on any particular day. This is a subset of the normal 40 or 50 with continuing eruptions. So volcanoes are Earth's geological architects. They've created more than 80% of our planet's surface, laying the foundation that has allowed life to thrive. So their explosive force crafts mountains as well as craters. Lava rivers spread into bleak landscapes. But as time ticks by, the elements break down these volcanic rocks, liberating nutrients from their stony prisons and creating remarkably fertile soils that have allowed civilizations to flourish. There are volcanoes on every continent, even Antarctica. So some 1,500 volcanoes are still considered potentially active around the world today. 161 of those, that's over 10%, sit within the boundaries of the United States. But each volcano is different. Some, and you can see the image here, burst to life in an explosive eruptions, like the 1991 eruption of Mount Pinatubo. Excuse me if my pronunciation is not great. Please correct me. And others burp rivers of lava in what's known as an effusive eruption, like the 2018 activity of Hawaii's Kiliu volcano. So these differences are all thanks to the chemistry driving the molten activity. Effusive eruptions are more common when the magma is less runny, which allows gas to escape and the magma to flow down the volcano's slopes. Explosive eruptions, however, happen when the viscous molten rock traps the gases, building pressure until it violently breaks free. So the majority of volcanoes in the world form along the boundaries of Earth's tectonic plates, massive expanses of our planet's lithosphere that continually shift, bumping into one another. When tectonic plates collide, as you know, one often plunges deep below the other in what's known as a subduction zone. Some mountains are made of solid rock, like the Rocky Mountains or the Swiss Alps, but some mountains are actually volcanoes. So volcanoes are vents or opening in the Earth's crust that release ash, gases, and steam, and hot liquid rock, as you know, called lava. So when the lava cools and hardens, it forms into the cone-shaped mountain we think of as a volcano. So most of the world's volcanoes are found around the edges of tectonic plates, both on land and in the oceans. So on land, volcanoes form when one tectonic plate moves under another, usually a thin, heavy oceanic plate subducts or moves under a thicker continental plate. So when this happens, the ocean plates sink into the mantle. So The Mount Rainier volcano in Washington is considered active, and volcanoes are classified as active. Okay, in other words, they've erupted recently, and they're also classified active, dormant, which is expected to erupt in the future, or extinct, not expected to erupt again. Okay. So you get those three classifications: active, dormant, and extinct. So water trapped in the rocks in this plate gets squeezed out. This causes some of the rocks to melt. So the melted rock or magma is lighter than the surrounding rock and rises up. So this magma collects in magma chambers, but it is still miles below the surface. So when enough magma builds up in the magma chamber, it forces its way up to the surface and erupts, often causing volcano eruptions. In the ocean, volcanoes erupt along cracks that are opened in the ocean floor by the spreading of two plates called a mid-ocean ridge. Magma from the Earth's upper mantle rises up to fill these cracks. As the lava cools, it forms new crust on the edges of the cracks. So these mid-ocean ridges are actually long chains of underwater volcanoes that circle the planet like the seams on a baseball. Okay. About 80 to 90% of all volcanic eruptions occur where the plates spread apart. Okay. And there you can see the image underwater. Okay. Now, the Ring of Fire is a large circle of explosive volcanoes around the Pacific Ocean. The circle is formed by the subduction of the Pacific Plate and some smaller plates under surrounding those plates. So the Ring of Fire is known by many names. Okay, it's called the Pacific Ring of Fire, the Rim of Fire, the Girdle of Fire, or the Circum-Pacific Belt. It's a region around much of the rim of the Pacific Ocean, as you can see from the map, where many volcanic eruptions and earthquakes occur. So the Ring of Fire is a horseshoe-shaped belt, about 25,000 miles long and up to about 300 miles wide, okay, 500 kilometers. So the Ring of Fire includes Pacific coast of South America, as you can see, North America and Kamchatka, and some islands in the Western Pacific Ocean. So the Ring of Fire is a direct result